Okay, let's move on to this next this next area with the non-focuses, right? So call this the focus on the non-focus because we're focusing on the objects, right? So the focus is on the non-focuses, which are the objects in the sentence. And just to recap, in our verb subject object order, the syntax, right? The the subject that becomes the focus gives us a change in the verb's conjugation, right? So we have it in the absolutive focus or the absolutive case subject pronouns, right? And because we're going to be using the absolutive case subject pronouns, the verb has to accommodate or conjugate with the correct subject pronoun, the correct absolutive case personal subject pronoun, right? But if we make our object the focus of the sentence, then it changes the verb's conjugation now because the verb's transitivity will change according to what the object will be, whether it's either transitive or ditransitive, and that's when we use the what you call it, the ergative case pronouns. Okay, so whenever this object becomes our focus, right? And how do we make it into a focus? By marking it with the ang, right? Whenever this object becomes our focus, the verb changes the conjugation depending on if it's transitive or ditransitive. Okay, and then this is how we're gonna look at it. So with our verb, with the transitive or ditransitive, but in this video I'll talk about the transitive, they both have to use the og or sa family markers, especially the ergative case pronouns. Okay, so the ergative case pronouns, remember, the ones that can go before or after are the ones that you're going to be using to conjugate or to show the correct conjugation or agreement on the conjugation of the verb, right? So let's dive into it now. With the future and the past, in this case, we can look at it through future and past because there's only two types. Aspect, not really defined here, but there is a form of aspect, and then I'm going to show you on this timeline here, right? For the present all the way until the past, whether it was ongoing or not, or simple or completed, right? We can look at it through immediate, absolute, and undefined, whether it happened in the present or in the past, right? Any action that was either immediate, absolute, or undefined, because we don't know, it could be absolute, meaning, or let's start with immediate. It could have been somewhere in the immediate past. Like if we are here in the present and it happened immediately, it's still in the past because it already happened, right? So it was just immediate. If it was absolute, meaning an action that happened in the past, we don't know when, but it absolutely happened in the past. We just don't know how far back or how far closer. It still happened in the past. And undefined meaning we just don't know when. Like it's ambiguous, right? So if we can look at it through that way, we will have this past and present aspect covered under gi. Okay? So that's why we can look at it through immediate, absolute, and undefined. And the same can be with the incomplete or in the future, right? So completed, we use the gi to cover everything that happened completed in the past up until now in the present. Okay, so present in from the past up until now in the present, we can cover verbs or we can conjugate verbs by using gi. And anything that never happened yet, incompleted, right? The verb hasn't been started or completed yet. Anything that's going into the future, we can use on. Again, it has to relate to immediate, absolute, and undefined. It can be immediately sometime or anticipating in the future, incepting in the future, it's gonna happen. Absolute in the future, it will happen. We don't know when, but it will happen. And undefined, again, ambiguous. When will it happen? Somewhere in the later future, somewhere in the near future, we don't know. But all of that can be covered with the conjugation of the on suffix. Okay, the on suffix, that affix on, and it expresses the future, some anticipatory whatever, we don't know. But remember, gi and on are only expressed when the object of the sentence is our focus. The non-focus becomes our focus, okay? And to do so, we have to use the ergative case, the ergative case pronouns, and these ergative case pronouns have to agree with their verb conjugation by using gi or on. So here I wrote mag, mo, and mu. Now, in the focus, in the other previous videos with mag, mo, and mu, mag, mo, and mu have different usages in their aspect, right? But they still represent the future. So they just have different focuses on their aspect. Well, with the non-focus on objects, right, we can combine these and they both mean on. It's a lot easier in the non-focus. They just mean on. The same with the nag and ni or me, right? They both represented different aspects of the past, but when we're talking about object and non-focus, right, for an object to be our focus, we can just combine both of them into gi. They both, if we use on, it's gonna either mean nag, mo, or mu, and if we use gi, it's either gonna mean nag, mi, or ni, okay? So it makes it a little easier for this time because it's just two two affixes that carry the similar meanings or the same meanings as their counterparts in the other focus, right? And here is a sentence. Kuhaon nila ang kwarta. Kuhaon nila ang kwarta, right? Which means they will take the money. They will take the money. Notice how kwarta is an object and it's marked by ang, right? Because our object now is our focus, right? Ang marks this focus. And because this is more important, this now changes to less important. And because this now changes to less important by being marked at the ergative case pronoun, we have to conjugate the verb to correspond to this ergative case pronoun, which is less important, right? So we want to focus now on the money. Who's going to take the money? Oh, we will. Okay, but the money is what we're talking about, right? Kuhaon nila ang kwarta. And again, this is a postfix. If I want to use a prefix, right, or the preposition, I have to use ila nga, right? Ila nga. So if I wanted to switch this around, it's gonna go ila nga kuhaon ang kwarta. Ilang kuhaon ang kwarta is the same as kuhaon nila ang kwarta. All right? It's flexible. As long as it's marked, you can move it around, right? Kwarta is marked with ang, nila is marked in the ergative case, and kuhaon is conjugated in the ergative case, right? On, nila, it agrees. Same with this one. Giluto nako ang manok. Okay, same deal. I cooked the chicken. I cooked the chicken. We don't know when, we don't know how, we don't know how long ago. It was just done, right? Giluto nako ang manok. I cooked the chicken. With the kuhaon nila ang kwarta, we don't know in the future when it's going to happen or how soon it's going to happen. It's just going to happen, right? Because it shows absolutiveness, right? It can show immediate too in the future, and it's just undefined. Third sentence, atong basahon karon ang Biblia. Atong basahon karon ang Biblia, right? We will read the Bible today, or we will read the Bible now. Karon makes it kind of absolute, right? Absolute meaning like karon. Karon means like now or today, right? Again, you can move it around. If I didn't want to use ato, I can just use basahon nato, right? Basahon nato karon ang Biblia. Instead of saying ato nga basahon or atong basahon karon ang Biblia. And the last one, gihunahuna niya ang tubag niya. Gihunahuna niya ang tubag niya. He was thinking of his answer, or she was thinking of her answer, right? Gihunahuna. Hunahuna means to think, but gi made it in the past progressive, right? But in the progressive past, thinking, was thinking, or had been thinking, right? Gihunahuna can mean those. It can mean I was thinking. Gihunahuna niya means she was thinking, she had been thinking, she thought. It can mean any of those, right? Because again, immediate, absolute, undefined, we just don't know. Okay, it just happened already. It could have been immediately in the past. Immediate, you can just had happened. Like I just had thought, I would have thought, I did have thought, think, I thought about, I was thinking, I thought about this, blah blah blah. So it can it can um, it can represent any of those or mean any of those that happened in the past. So, gihunahuna niya ang tubag niya. Don't get this niya mixed with this niya, okay? Gihunahuna niya meaning she had thoughts. Ang tubag, right? Ang tubag is tubag meaning answer. But niya is modifying this tubag because again with an ergative case pronoun plus a noun, this means ownership or showing possession. So her the answer of hers or her answer. Ang tubag niya or ang iyang tubag, right? This is more of like the answer of hers versus ang iyang tubag means like her answer. So she was thinking of her answer. All right. So think about this and then we will move on again. So let this sink into your minds, into your brains, right? And because we're going to move on with more of these non focus or these object focuses.